Well, good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome. And thank you so much for joining me this evening. This evening on the the late one in review, where we look at what should I say? Look at beyond the breaking news. That's what we're going to do. Look at beyond the breaking news because there's so many different things happening. People, ladies and gentlemen, those on TikTok, those on Facebook, those on YouTube. I want to say welcome and good evening. I just had to slight emergency. I heard the fire alarm went off. You know, there's a false alarm there, so I just had to run to it and sort it out. My apologies for the delay. But before going any further, I just want to say there's a lot being going on this week. Every week, every Thursday, there's always something new. You know, there's always something new every Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. And every Thursday, one can say that one, it is not the same thing as last week, okay? And two, I never know what is going to be the big topic of the week. I mean, right now, we never thought that there's going to be a Vibes Kartel squash, you know? We never thought that there's going to be this issue regarding Diane Abbott. We never knew that there was going to be this Haiti thing. And sometimes when I invite guests on sometimes and they say you need to give us notice of the topics, you can never get the notice of the topics, you know? And that is why I go rendezvous with my good man here, Herbert, who will say what? It doesn't matter what the topic, we just run with it, isn't it?
Just run with it. Just run with it. We're not talking 7 minute scandals. We're talking about lifetime events.
Yeah. We can't. You know, there's always some. You see, what I realize and why it's so important to maintain this sort of presence weekly on this program and those on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. It is very important that we have a presence on these topics because if you actually look at the mainstream and you look at the mainstream network there, they're on it and they're on it and they're on it, and then we are like looking at it and I think it's very important that we have a presence on it. What do you say? You know?
Yeah, we can't keep looking over into people's fences to see what they're doing, because if we do that, we will always be playing catch up.
Yes.
What we need to do is stay current, stay relevant, and speak on topical issues that affect the everyday common people.
Yeah, and just to let you know, the sort of topics that we're looking at tonight is going to be about Diane Abbott being racialized, you know, also the Haiti crisis and who is behind this Haiti crisis. Why is this going on for so many years and like we cannot get a grip on it? Who is responsible? You know, the Privy Council. Freeze Kartel, you know what I mean? That even Ninja Man is calling Emily Shields and say, "You think me should I do it too? You think me should I go to Privy Council?" And this is a funny one. TikTok somehow kicked out of the USA. Can you imagine? TikTok kicked out of the USA. That's a very funny one. I mean, in what do you call it? In 6 months' time. Let me bring in Gary. I think Gary has the answer to everything. He's gone. He just had the answer for everything and he disappeared. Gary, what's going on? Come back, Gary. Come back. You know, come back and give us the answer to everything. You know. Where's the answer? Where's the answer to this, Gary? But listen, sorry, Gary. Don't worry. We can come on. Without further ado, let us look at firstly Diane Abbott. Yes. And ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know what is happening, it's of recent days. Diane Abbott was, called by a gentleman named Mr. Hester, a conservative donor, and he said every time I see her, I find myself hating black women, but I don't. He said, but I don't hate black women, and I want to shut her. I don't know what the right words that he used, and I did a video to that effect. Do you know the right words that he used?
There's no dancing around. He said she should
I'm
be shot.
dancing around it. Yeah, I'm dancing around
Yes,
it.
she should be shot.
She should be shot. Yeah.
Yes,
So there is that, you know. And,
and
sorry, go on, please.
to me, they're dancing around the language as if they're saying he's a big money spender, so he has the right to say what he wants to do. Now, having the right to say what he wants to do is also tantamount to having the right to call people to bear arms against someone, right? And we've seen it with Joe Cox back in
Yes.
2016. We cannot allow those languages to permeate our space, or else we'll be living in a country where we have to look and so don't say anything. If we want to live, just look and don't say anything. And even if you look too hard, it will cause an offense.
Gary, what's your take on this, Gary?
Well, let me first say thanks for allowing me to join you, Sylbourne, and Herbert another week.
Well, what can I say?
It's been rather eventful.
Yes.
It's great to be with minds such as powerful as yours and Herbert's. So I don't know if what I say will really make any difference.
Gary, listen. I did a video today, and I said that black men need to speak up on this bit here. We all have our wives, black wives, children, or so. We have a duty and a responsibility to speak up on these issues. So therefore, every one of us need to, while we speak up on the issues, and we can vent our anger, we can demonstrate, but the most important thing is that it translates into something profound, something collaborative, something where we are at the seat of power, where we are not actually just being reactive, but also being proactive. That's one of my take with this whole thing. Because when I listen to the likes of Don Butler, new black MPs, them are actually worried. They're sort of scared. So when this gentleman say these things like shot, the impressionable minds of individuals may want to take it on literally and follow through with this whole. Yeah.
Listen.
Yes.
I don't know if yourself and Herbert would agree with what I'm going to say now, but these things should not frighten us or shock us.
Yes.
Now, look what they've done to the black man. Look what they've done to black men, or to men in general. They have totally demoralized the men. They have totally grounded black men into the dust. We are no more, or we're nowhere really on the periphery of anything. Now, they may say, well, we've allowed black men to be in government. We've allowed black men to be Chancellor of the Exchequers. We've allowed a black man, by way of Sunak, to be Prime Minister. But that's only token gestures. They do not value black men. So if they don't value black men, and in general anyway, women don't register on the Richter scale at all. Black women are not really a threat to them. Black men are. If they give a black man the opportunity to excel, then a black man would excel. And there are many, and that's why I've always said, every now and again when we touch subjects such as these, that there are black men out there that are wealthy. One, there are black men out there that are successful in business. There are black men who are intelligent, way beyond whatever anybody would have thought. There black men who are brilliant in every vocation, in every way, but they will not give a black man the opportunity at all. They have taken away. That is why we're having to fight. In everything that we do, we're having to fight. That's why our black boys, they are stopped, they are searched, they are accused of things that probably was not in their minds. But if 2 or 3 stand on a street corner, what happens? Why are you standing here? They're questioned. If 2 or 3 are walking down the road, 4 of them, they might be minding their own business. They don't have a thought in the world of doing what, quote unquote, the policing. So I'm saying all of that to say this: what is being said about our black women shouldn't shock. It should not shock us at all, because that is in society. Listen, again, remember what John Barnes says.
Yes, I was just about to say that. Yes.
Remember what John Barnes says. About racism. It's in the society. It's not in football. It's not in the tennis. It's not in the workplace. As when I say workplace, I mean like in the position. It's in society. It's ingrained in the mind. And what this gentleman vocalized, right? Listen, we know it's already there. Why are we behaving as if this is the first time we're hearing something like this, or we are shocked that it's there? It's already there. I mean, one of your listeners, I can't remember who it is. You'll know him quite well in a sense that he's commented, I'm sure, once or twice. But I remember, I believe it was last year sometime, Sylbourne, when we were discussing something of this nature. He wrote that racism is not in the English society, so to speak. That he has not experienced racism. Now, at the time when I read that, I mean, obviously, a lot of fireworks are going off in my head, because I'm wondering, where does this person live? Is he in reality, or is he somewhere out of reality? I mean, these things are in society. It's just that we're not hearing them. When they're together, when certain individuals are together, whether it's in the pub, whether it's in the boardroom, whether it's in their own private dwellings, what do you think they're talking about? What do you think that they're talking about? You, me, or Herbert? People like us.
So what you're saying, that Frank Hester and these guys, what we heard is just that somebody exposed it. It's just like somebody disclosed it, but it is like a normal rhetoric.
Listen, it's not a mistake.
I didn't say it's a mistake. I just said,
I know. It's a slip of the tongue, because that's what they talk, that's what they say. So they forget where they are, and it just comes out because it's there. Because it's a discussion point that they have discussed already. They've spoken about it. It's not new to them. So they don't expect these things to come out in the open, in the public, like how this one has come. But listen, my friend, let's not be fooled in any way, shape, or form. It's in society, and it's there spoken about us. When we stand in front of them, when we sit with them, when we sit around the boardrooms, when we are negotiating, when powerful black men are sitting in the boardrooms or sitting in the places of power or influence, and they sit before such individuals, there's a smile, there's a nod. They'll shake your hand.
I need to stop you there. So what are you trying to say, that just because it is there, that doesn't mean to say one cannot progress? Or are you saying because it's there, one have to stay behind and not progress beyond? Is that what you're saying? I understand the point where you say not be surprised. And I'm also of that view as well, not to be surprised when these things happen. Because just as what Johnny Barnes said, if you want to get racism out of football, you got to recognize that racism actually comes from society, and these persons come from society. And therefore, you got to get racism out of society. And just like when it come on to Frank Hester and persons who are racist, then where they're coming from, they're products of the society.
Right.
But just because they're
See,
products
look,
of, go on.
I have this saying that
Yes.
for some people, right, whatever they say, they're being misconstrued or you've
Yes.
taken it the wrong way.
Yes.
But when people of color speak, they're deliberate.
Yes.
Yes? And I'm not surprised that this came out in the forum in which it did.
Mm.
What I'm surprised about
Yeah.
is the actions, or should I say, I'm not really surprised at the actions of the leaders of both political parties.
Which
Right?
Diane Abbott also called out. Yeah. Mm.
I'm not surprised. And as we see, was it yesterday or today, where she was ignored 46 times trying to make a point in the people's house.
Mm.
Right? This has a genesis. It is deep rooted.
Mm.
And not because it has come to light now means that they're going to want to debate it, because it does not affect them. The people who it affects
Mm.
are in the minority, because even some black people will say, why is she carrying on like that for?
Mm.
Because it does not affect them. But it affects us because we're all black, we're all people living in the same country.
Mm.
And if it is said about Diane, about God knows what he has said about other people.
Mm. When I hear the words, and I did it in a video, which I was in the park walking, and it was unscripted. I just sat down and shared my thoughts with it. And when I hear the words like black woman shot, and I listen to those terminologies are what resonate in the transatlantic slavery time, when we're enslaved. I mean, we are products, our byproducts of slavery, because we are from the Caribbean and we come back to the UK, not the motherland. The motherland is Africa. I don't know why they call the UK motherland. I never seem to understand that. But nevertheless, still, that is what used to happen: being vilified, being emasculated, being shot, and those things, because you sort of come out of line. And so when I hear these sort of terminologies, for certain persons, there are two type of persons in them: the impressionable minds of those who will take the words of that gentleman and actually follow it through, to the likes of maybe the guys who are the one who shot Joe Cox, and also the minds of those persons who are traumatized and are still traumatized from the aspect of slavery many years ago. And the fact of the situation is this: the black community, or those who have been through the transatlantic slavery movement, like myself, or poor parents, there has not been an apology, which I was saying, and there's not been any reparation. There's not been any Truth and Reconciliation Commission. So this thing, as someone said on LinkedIn, when I put something up there we go again. Why you have to say black? We didn't say black. The guy said black. You know what I'm trying to say? And then say, get over it. So you still have persons who are saying, get over it. You'll never ever tell a Jew that. You'll never ever tell a Jew that, to get over it. You know what I'm saying? So, but the question is, and I say this all the while, is this thing and this sort of discussion will always come up when something comes in the spotlight. And we got to be careful sometimes that we just react, but we're not being proactive to be a part of the solution. Gary, what do you see as a part of the effective solution for black people within the United Kingdom when these things arise? Because we got children and children who are coming up, and they're going to hear it and they're going to come to you. What do you say? I'm not saying you have all the answer, but what do you see as part of the solution?
We have to continue to say what our parents and foreparents have said to us.
Yes.
We just have to keep going. Don't just keep chipping away at what's before us. We cannot allow for us to be beaten into the dust, so to speak, because of what people think.
Yes.
We mustn't accept that. We've got to keep trying. I mean, people like Diane Abbott and
Yes.
like what's his name, David Lammy and such. These people have made inroads, and others before them. They've made inroads, even with the chancellor that had to resign in the Conservative Party, and even the home secretary that is there right now also. Well, no, that was there before, and such and such. I think that they've made great improvements, whether we want to support them with the political ideologies or not. These men and women have made progress, not only for themselves, but also for Black people. And I'm saying that for our children, we've got to encourage them to keep going in the right and the proper way.
Yeah. You know, Morgan Freeman said something, and I just want to pick up someone on Instagram. Dane, if you can just clarify this point here. She mentioned this point. I believe these conversations perpetuated it. And he said, I think this needs to be said directly to such individuals, make them uncomfortable. But I want to ask her what she means by, I believe these conversations perpetuated. Because there are times they say that when one keep talking about this, it keeps it in the forefront of mind, because just like the media frame, and I never forget Martin Henry, is a journalist from Jamaica who passed away. He used to teach me at Brownstown coming to college. And he said one time to me, watch the media frame, watch how the media keep pushing this out, pushing out this narrative to get into the mindset. So I want to ask Dana if she means talking about it like we are now, looking at the solution and venting, because I believe that is important. Or is it just talking about it in a way that keeps it in the mindset of people? I don't know. Morgan Freeman said to get rid of racism, don't talk about it. That's his philosophy. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about you know. Gary,
Gary, it's okay for people to say don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Right? But if you don't talk about it, you'll be going about your daily business, and people keep throwing it in your face.
Yes.
Right? There's a book by a guy, Michael Fuller. He's the first Black senior officer here in England. Let's kill the Black one first.
What's his name? Fuller?
Michael Fuller, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? And in it, he said when he was stationed in over in Fulham, the Fulham area.
Yes.
He was confronted with racism every day, where his co-workers were talking about the Black people they meet on the street.
Yes. But
they will tell him, no, Michael, we're not talking about you. You're okay. No, it's not okay. It's one size fits all kind of thing.
Yes.
And if you can talk about my Black brother on the street, irrespective of what they've done, and you talk about them in a derogatory way, you're talking about me, mate.
Yes.
So I'm not going to accept that it is not my problem or it doesn't affect me. Yes, it does.
Yes. I believe it does, and especially with children these days now, I find that children, they're very perceptive, and children are actually in school. They are actually talking about it, and they'll come home and they say certain things about the Prime Minister because their friends are talking about it. And the question is, what are we going to say to them? You know, Are we going to be reactive, or we are
All
going
right.
to be solution oriented?
In 2016, the then leader of the Labour Party said something about a particular set of people, right? Of which he didn't apologize. And that was his career done. Right? In 2018, another former prime minister said something about another set of people looking like mailboxes.
Yes.
And nothing was done to him. He was allowed to carry on for another 2 or plus years.
Yes.
Right? So how is it now this gentleman can come out in public to say this about a black woman, a black lawmaker,
yes,
who is contributing something to this country? The only thing he's contributing to this country is some money to buy his way through society. That's all I can say. He's not the one standing up in parliament debating a law or opposing anything.
Yes.
He's funding his ideas through his money.
10 million he's giving to the Conservative, and also a contract of 400 million from the NHS.
So what they're saying is that because he has a spending power, he should be allowed to say anything he wants to say, and we'll be cool with it. It's not cool.
But can I say, a lady said to me the other day, and what you said is, Sylbourne, do you notice something? You notice a trend here? When Jeremy Clarkson said something, I don't remember who he said about, and then he said he's sorry. He said something of that nature. He said he's sorry. And then there's also another, also Pierce Brosnan, the way he's been going on at Meghan Markle, you know?
No, not Piers Morgan.
Yeah, Piers Morgan with Meghan Markle, and then also Jeremy Clarkson with another person as well. And I draw this analogy, and I said, what if Diane Abbott was Jewish and a white woman?
Yeah.
And he said, every time I look at that white Jewish lady there, I want to hate all Jewish women, and I want to shut, use those terms there.
Yeah.
Listen, guy you wouldn't see that he would have finished.
This amounts to
Black Lives Matter.
A parent in Jamaica will look at her daughter to tell her daughter that her man is spending the money in the house.
Yes.
So he should be allowed to do whatever he wants. Did you watch the movie Dancehall Queen?
I think I watched that Dancehall Queen with a lady there.
Where that woman's boyfriend tried to molest her daughter.
I think so. Yeah, I recall. Yeah.
And she told her daughter that he is the one sending her to school. He's the one paying the bills. So she must not complain.
Yes.
This is what the government here is saying to us here in this country today, 2024. We should not complain about people that are spending millions. Just suck it up, move on. Life goes on.
Yeah. And what do you think about, in final, what do you think about the fact that Diane Abbott kept trying to say something in the House of Commons? She kept standing up. They're all talking about her, and she wanted to have a say in the matter. How do you look at that? You know what I'm saying?
This speaker was rude. The speaker was rude and out of order.
Well, it's
right.
Well, I mean,
and it goes to show the support that she has. Because if anyone had supported Dan Abbott, they would have
tried to have her say in the Commons, rising dozens of times.
Okay, there she is. Right? Keep talking there. I'm just letting that play. Yes.
Anyone who had good intentions and supported Dan Abbott, they should have walked out of Parliament in support of her. They're all complicit.
And I know, as I said in my video, much kudos to Diane Abbott, and there I am with her and former Senator Norman Grant, in the UK here, and good friend of mine. You know what I mean? Which I'll see him shortly. So there we are with Diane Abbott, and Diane Abbott, of course, was part of the quartet, and the quartet is what's his name? I think I got a picture here. Let me see. I think I got the picture here of the fourth.
David Lammy?
No, it wasn't Lammy. It was, oh, I don't have the picture. It was the four: Keith Vaz, Paul Boateng, and Bernie Grant. They all entered Parliament at the same time. She was the first woman, yeah. So all I can say is kudos to Diane Abbott, and she's a pioneer, and a lot of these new members of Parliament, the black women out there, you got Marsha Delacova, Janet Davey. There's a list of them out there in the ranks. She paved the way for them, and she should not go down in any disgrace. But she will never go down to disgrace because her legacy is all set already. So kudos to Diane Abbott, and I will stand with her. And as black men, we stand with our black women as much as we can.
Don't forget Sylbourne. Yeah. It was it 2019, 2018, 2019 when she was stopped by the police?
Was she? I can't remember. Yeah.
Yes. I think she was stopped by the police, and really, they really did a number on her.
Yes. I find it very, yeah, go on. Yeah, go on. Seriously.
This was before the two black athletes were stopped in North London.
Yes. I find it very disturbing when Nick Ferrari, the time when the numbers bit and they caught her out with the figures, and it disturbed me when these guys do journalism and they do interviews like this, is they're not trying to find a solution to educate the people that are listening. They're more wanting to show that they are brilliant, or they're trying to catch out the person. So they wanted to catch out Diane Abbott, and I make no apologies that I'm in the Conservative Party, and I don't agree with everything, but the point about it is that I don't like those. I don't like that sort of interviews, and that is why sometimes even when I go on to BBC and they invite me, I've turned down sometimes a couple of interviews at times, because when I find out who they have there, it's like they want you to play like a match. They want to use against each other. I don't like that. I said, no, that's not what you're about. You're trying to pit me against somebody else. We need to find a way how to educate the people. And I never like how they try to catch her out. Not everybody's gonna have not everybody's gonna have all the figures and all the information with them at the. Don't worry, I'll mute you for a second. Nobody's gonna have all the information with them at the same time. So I wish all the lady MPs at this present moment, they're good friends of mine, all the best and the success, and we just have to stand behind in all things, So yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to comment and what's your name on Instagram. If you could have explained that point about where you said these conversations perpetuated. I believe these conversations are important, but not just for venting, but also to seek solutions, because I believe it's very important that we are at the seat of power. I believe that it's important to black persons, black women, black men, just like these black women who are there. They're pushing forward, and they are going into Parliament. They are governors, they are MPs, they are councillors, and they are there. And I believe as black men as well, we need to step up to the plate, myself, yourself, and be there at the seat of power.
Correct.
And therefore, when things are said, if somebody's racist sometimes, they got a problem, you know what I'm saying? You call it out, but you don't let it actually fluster you too much. But of course, you've got to have a hard buck. But anyway, let's move on from that. Listen, Haiti, what's going on? Until Matunda come, we'll talk about Vibes Kartel. If Matunda don't come back, we won't talk about Vibes Kartel. Let's talk about Haiti, because Haiti is one of those countries which is an inspiration because of the fact that Haiti was one of the first countries that fought for their independence. And
it's one of the first.
No, not the first.
It's the first country in the Western Hemisphere,
The first country in West. Yes, yes. Thank you for
right?
Yeah.
To abolish slavery.
Yes. Yes.
It's also the first country in the Western Hemisphere that had to pay back money for every slave. Yeah?
Yes.
That was in Haiti. They had to pay the French for every slave that was there.
So you mean to say everyone that was free then?
Yes.
So and Haiti is massive, isn't it?
Yes.
Can you imagine? So do you have any idea how many black persons who they call slaves or deemed to be slaves? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
if you have to pay back for every slave that was in your country,
Yeah.
that were born there, but they were brought there by someone,
Yes.
and you have to pay a ransom to the captors, you're immediately gone into a negative bank account.
And that is what has been
And
there
that
on,
is
yeah.
what. And this is also coupled with all the leaders that they've had that have taken resources from the people of Haiti and have gone into exile. Some have since died, and some are still living.
So that
Haiti was fortunate or unfortunate, however you want to put it, to be ruled by two ducks, Baby and Papa.
Yes. And Papa Doc said he wanted to be alive, but he died. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So whatever is happening in Haiti now, the people cannot help themselves. Because the police officers who were working,
yes,
and maybe with all good intentions, they couldn't get paid. And when you work and you can't get paid,
and in
there's only one thing.
Yes.
You have to turn to criminality to maintain your family.
Well, barbecue is somewhat deemed to be the de facto, according to what Western media is putting it, as a de facto leader or puppet or so of the uprising. He was a policeman, wasn't it?
He was. No, people are looking at men like those and say that they're criminals. But what made them criminals? Is it the fact that they were working and getting paid, or they were working and not getting paid? Right? So we have to examine all the backstory and not look at the current situation. Because to get to the current situation, we have to deal with history. Remember, the island of Hispaniola.
Yes.
There are two nations, Dominican Republic, Haiti.
Yes.
A few years ago, Haitians tried to seek refuge in Dominican Republic. And the government said for a Haitian national to claim asylum, they have to show a document from 400 years back to show that they're Haitians.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that possible? That's not possible.
Huh?
Is that possible? That's not possible.
Are you going to exhume a grave from 400 years ago to look for papers in your grandfather's pocket?
Yeah.
Right?
Can I just ask, and there's an interaction for those on Instagram. There's 4 areas here now. Actually, I'm on 4 platforms really. YouTube is a way. Please share this video. So this is spit all over on Instagram. Some activities here on Instagram. Wayne, how are you? Fantia. Hi, Angela Mar, radio interview. Those on Instagram, welcome, and those on Facebook as well. What do you think is the solution to the Haitian crisis? Anyone have a view? What do you think is a solution to the Haitian crisis, which has been going on for years? The Blinken and few leaders went to Jamaica recently for a summit, and they said they're going to form a sort of presidential or caucus to sort of usher in a new regime or so. What do you think about that? Do you think that meeting which I had in Jamaica played? Because I believe while they were having it, the guy was resigning.
Yeah, he resigned.
Yes.
But
or he's to resign. Is he resign or he's to resign?
No. He has resigned.
He has resigned. Yes, that is
Right?
the prime.
However,
this is the prime minister.
How? No, he's not a prime minister. You know,
What was he?
he's someone who inserted himself. He was not elected. Haiti has not had an election since 2016.
Yes.
So when they
Killed
when
the
the president was assassinated
Yes.
a couple years ago, he inserted himself as the prime minister.
By what means? How did he just do that? Was he a part of the cabinet or
Well,
so?
I think he was part of the cabinet,
Yes.
but he just running and say, all right, know that the president is dead, I'm going to take over until means that there might never be an end to his role as prime minister, right? But in the middle of all that, the Haitian people knows him more than you and I do.
Yes.
And they did not want him to be in that role of prime minister.
Yeah.
Right? So what is happening now is the US and the CARICOM are trying to put in place something for a transitional government.
Yes.
But they're doing it without a Haitian sitting at the table.
Really, that's so. Therefore, so do you believe? So do you believe that barbecue should be at the table?
No.
But barbecue seems to have. They seem to have this stronghold there in a sense. The gang don't
listen.
I mean, hold on. Okay, we're gonna come there.
Yeah.
In Northern Ireland, with the Irish issue which was going on in Northern Ireland, all of these guys had a political arm that came to the table. Even in South Africa, with Mandela, there was always a political arm. And what is happening now in Haiti? If these guys wield so much power and influence, are you going to make things without bringing them somehow? Isn't that is the same thing being happening? What do you think? I'm just throwing that out, you know.
What barbecue is saying? Ariel Henry cannot be the prime minister.
Yes.
Right? Hence the blockage, the blocking of the airport. He was not allowed to return. Now, if he was that good, do you think they would have locked him out of the country? Right? If he was that good, do you think the process would have ended without him being elected as a prime minister?
Yes.
There's more to this than what meets the eye. And if someone is crying out, a nation is crying out against one man, we don't want him.
Yes.
They can't all be lying about him. So what CARICOM needs to do?
Yes.
There must be someone of substance within that Haitian community. And I'm not talking about one that has been living in the US for past 25, 30 years. I'm talking about one that is right there on the ground.
With the people. You see, what they say is that the current gang structure arguably began under the auspices of former leader Jean Bertrand Aristide Daniel
John
Foot.
Bertrand Aristide.
Yeah,
That's
the
the
former,
Catholic the Catholic priest.
with the Kasai. Well, I was
Yeah.
trying to say the other day, and I said I couldn't find the right words, and you remind me, say we have Kasai, the former U.S.
Yeah.
Special Envoy to Haiti, who resigned in 2021 over the Biden administration policy of deporting Haitian immigrants, told Vox in an interview, Aristide started them on purpose in the early 1980s as a voice, as a way to get some power for ordinary Haitians, Foot said, and then morphed over the years. But what did Papa Duck did? And what did Baby Duck?
Papa Duck and Baby Duck started the well, I can't say they started it,
Yes.
but it came to light under their leadership.
Yes.
Right? Where they were raping the country of much needed resources.
Yes.
Sending it overseas. Remember when they were
go on, yeah.
when they were chased out of Haiti, they came to Europe. They sought exile in Europe.
Yes.
And they got exiled. It was at that point then John Bertrand Aristide put himself forward.
Yes.
Being that he's a man of the cloth, they had faith in him.
Yes.
But the story continues.
So right now, so what has happened? So what are they trying to do now? In a way, now this guy's gone. They're trying to organize this sort of coalition. Well, not coalition, but this group of persons to
transition government.
A transition government. And
yes.
But you alluded a while ago that this transition government is not comprised of any Haitians.
Well, up until now,
yes,
they have not said that they're inviting anyone in particular from the Haitian community or the island of Haiti.
Yes, yes.
So it is all of CARICOM and the US.
Yes.
Now, we know that when you put things in place and you do not have a direct intervention or direct involvement of someone from within the community,
yes.
and I mean the Haitian community in Haiti,
yes,
there's going to be problems.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, please like up the page and let me have a comment or so in regards to this. We're having this conversation about our Caribbean brothers and sisters. You know, lots of Asians have been going to Jamaica as well, taking the boat across there. Recent days, they sent some of them back. I believe there's some arrangement which is there to house children or so coming through. There's been some concern that people say some of these gang members are actually going to Jamaica, but I think you even said that for years that has been happening. Where
yeah, it's been going on for years where there's a trade between the Haitians and the criminal elements in Jamaica.
Yes.
Drugs or guns. At one point, it was rumored that the Jamaicans were stealing donkeys, killing them, and exchanging it for guns, exchanging the meat for guns in Haiti.
Yes. Yes.
They were that impoverished, right? So it's not a secret that the flow of weapons into Jamaica, though a small majority is coming through Miami,
yes,
into Kingston and Montego Bay. The major majority is coming from the open borders of Jamaica, between Jamaica and Haiti. Right?
Yes.
The Coast Guard and the Marine Police is not policing the seas enough to intercept the boats.
Do you think they're complicit? I heard also that there have been some guys who are controlling the ports as well. There are some bigger guys in the fish. There's some bigger fishes in the whole thing regarding Haiti as well, and these guys
No,
are.
I do not think the police and the JDF are complicit in it.
No, not the JD. No, I'm talking about some people in Haiti. Yeah.
Well, the Haitians, you can never tell because in right now it's each man for their own.
Yes. Yes.
Right? So if I can get any amount of food from Jamaica
Yes.
for free and give them some AK-47 and some AR-15
Yeah.
with endless amount of ammunition, I'm in good standing because I'm getting food to feed my family.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We wish we hope that something amicable and something effective will happen there for our brothers and sisters in Haiti, because I realize that even CARICOM should be a very strong bloc. CARICOM should be leading in this way. I remember the time when they had an earthquake, there was lots of allegations against the Clintons, the money which was going there at the same time. But I believe that CARICOM should be a very strong bloc. I believe that the Caribbean should be a strong bloc. And moving over to Kartel now, I believe that the Privy Council is showing it's giving its sense a level of strength, whereby it is creating a sort of wavering thinking about the Jamaican judicial system, and the Caribbean Court of Justice may be in the balance now, whereby the Privy Council seem to be strong. But I believe that it is very important for us to be self-reliant and for ourselves. Gary, any last word before I jump onto Gaza? I don't know if you're a Gaza man. We have to say something about Gaza before.
No, the only Gaza Gary know is the one in the Hamas territory.
Okay, wonderful. The pity we didn't get Leicester on Mr. Gaza. I wonder why the Gaza, But yeah, Gary, you had anything to say before I just switch over onto Gaza and just to reflect on this regarding Haiti? We're talking about Haiti earlier.
Yeah, I mean it's just sad what's happened in Haiti, and I think that France should take more responsibility for what has happened down there. In my estimation, I think France should take more responsibility because they are the perpetrators for what has happened down there since Papa Doc and Baby Doc took over, or they handed it to them. So that's all I have to say.
I wonder, just like how in 2015, where a lot of former slave owners in the UK were being paid back off in 2015. I wonder when was it that, of course, it is something one can research. And if anybody can research, that would be great. Cool Breeze or somebody can research this. I wonder when they finally paid off France. When did they pay off France in total?
I do not think they had what to pay.
You don't think they paid it off?
No, I don't think. I do not think they had what to pay.
Right. Okay.
Sylbourne,
yeah.
The landscape of Haiti, they do not have any trees.
Yes.
They do not have anything to plant. Yeah? Remember, trees and all on mountainsides break the hurricane winds. Haiti is the only country in the Western Hemisphere that has constantly been hit by a hurricane, no matter how small.
Yes.
Or an earthquake, no matter how small, because they have no defenses. All the natural resources they had is gone into food or for coal burning purposes.
Yes.
Dominican Republic, on the other hand, is strong in tourism, and they do not want the Haitians in that part of Hispaniola.
Yes. That's a funny thing again, right? We're going to have to talk about that some other time because of the closeness to them and just separated by that, where one seems to be affluent and one is poor. Today, a big thing happened where lots of people were waiting on, and that was the Privy Council ruling or judgment in regards to Vybz Kartel. Vybz Kartel has been in prison, 13, 14 years?
No, since 2014.
2014, since the killing of Lizard, nobody was found. No body was found, but he was found guilty and in prison. I sat Buchanan with the team. I don't know if he was the lead counsel, who I think has been vindicated in many ways in some of the things that happened with him and the DPP. But today, the Privy Council ruled that they allowed the appeal, and I was actually, I didn't listen to it because I was busy at work, but I saw and I saw a bit of the judgment, and paragraph 63 said section 14.2 of the Judicator Appellate Jurisdiction Act permits a retrial where a conviction is quashed if that is in the interest of justice. The board proposes to follow. In this case, it is usual practice of remitting to the local courts the question whether a retrial should be ordered. So their conclusion is that for the reasons set out above, the board, which is the Privy Council, would humbly advise His Majesty that the appellant's conviction should be quashed, and that the question whether there should be a retrial should be remitted to the Court of Appeal of Jamaica. So while it has been quashed, he's still not out of prison yet, and he's still not free, and that is now left to the Court of Appeal of Jamaica to make that decision whether they're going to actually try it again or he walks.
Well, I'm no legal expert, right?
Yes, but today you are one now.
Well, no. I'm not professing to be one. But if the Privy Council had said the conviction is unsafe, it would have been a different argument from sending it back to the Jamaican Appeal Court.
Yes.
Right? What I find interesting is, and reading it, it's the pressure that the sitting judge had placed on the jurors to come back with a verdict. Right? And for me, that is one sticking point that probably set off some flash bulbs in the heads of the Privy Council.
Yes.
Right? Also, the jury, the member of the panel, when it was found out her son was incarcerated, she should have been removed.
Yeah.
She should have been removed from the panel, from the trial, and a new panel and a new jury pool be empaneled.
Yes.
Right? But instead, they allowed her to stay on the panel. And that in itself
tainted
is
the
wrong.
whole thing.
Yeah. It is wrong. So you have now the juror who was trying to bribe people to find him not guilty, as well as the juror whose son was in prison in the same institution where these accused men were. Right? So you're putting more people at risk than who was meant to be at risk by doing that. I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Gary, you have any take into this? I mean, as to what the fact that it has to come all the way to the Privy Council for a decision to be made of something of a high level nature, and yet, you know, I've been talking about this for a while, the constitutional reform, and they will want to move away from the king. What do you think about this now? We don't want to move away from the king and the constitution, but yet at the same time, it seems that, and what this is saying is that there are question signs over the judicial system in Jamaica. And many people are now going to say, boy, keep the Privy Council. We don't trust our own. Will people say that? Or will they go on to go for the Caribbean Privy Council? I'm not asking you to be definitive, but just your thoughts. And what are people's thoughts on that?
I don't really know. You know, I mean, you see,
Come on, Gary.
the
You must
whole,
know,
to
man.
me,
You must know something. You must know.
the whole legal system in Jamaica really is up in arms.
Yes.
I mean, to me, I'm not a trained lawyer like yourself and such. So, but to me, how they've got too many irons in the fire, and they're trying to do too much at one time. So if they're wanting to go into a republic status, yeah, if they're wanting to go into a presidential kind of system, but at the same time hold on to a British legal framework, then there's going to be a confusion of thoughts, if I could say it as that, because the judicial system in Jamaica at this moment in time, for how Jamaica in particular is set up, it's not working. I don't think it's really working, because they're trying to they appeal to some extent. They appeal to the British system, to the British courts, but at the same time, what they need to do for themselves, they're not able to probably make legal decisions because of where they are, where they're situated. Do you understand what I'm saying, Sylbourne?
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. There's two things which one is looking at now, and I'm looking at it more from the angle of the constitutional reform and wanting to remove the Caribbean Privy Council as the apex court, which is the highest court in Jamaica. Caribbean Court of Justice is in I think it's in Barbados, and also the Privy Council. So people are saying, why wanting to remove the king as the head of state and to be a republic, and yet at the same time you want to keep the Privy Council? Some of the persons in favor of the Privy Council is saying that they do not trust the Caribbean Court of Justice because they believe that there's corruption. Now, when this has happened now with the Vibes Kartel, which has been in prison for so long, and therefore it was unsafe in a sense. I mean, because push come to shove, Vibes Kartel, if you know, may come out with now to sue the government to be in court, to be in prison for so long in an unsafe terms. And then therefore, what is going to happen now? They're going to want to say, let's keep that Privy Council because at least we have more assurance. But at the same time, we have not really tested the Caribbean Court of Justice. And I believe the Caribbean Court of Justice must be tested. Let me just play something here before you go. Dion Jackson Miller said something, and I play that because she's in Jamaica and they had a discussion. Let me just play this.
Of a retrial, but the whole point is, as the judge said, the Court of Appeal is now going to decide if Kartel and the other three are going to be tried again. In other words, this could, if the Court of Appeal says yes, there's going to be a retrial, this could start all over again from scratch in the Supreme Court, meaning selection of jurors, meaning presentation of the evidence, submissions, everything, everything that's involved in a new trial. So it's not over yet by a long shot. It is obviously a big victory for Kartel and his team because now they have another shot. But we have to wait for the Court of Appeal to see what it is they're going to decide, if they're going to say this needs to go to a retrial or not. If there's no retrial, then they would go free. But if there is a retrial, then the question is going to be, are they going to get out on bail or are they going to be held pending the retrial? So there are a lot of issues yet to be decided.
Okay, so as you can hear what she has said now, from that now, it is not over as yet. So it is left in the hands of the Court of Appeal in Jamaica that if you're going to start a new trial, they can still keep him or they can put him on bail. But if they're not going to do that, he walks. You know?
But why would you do a retrial when the key part of the evidence, the mobile phone, was tampered with? And
there's no body.
the person who tampered with that phone, by all intent and purposes, is still within the JCF.
Yes.
No disciplinary action was taken against him or them, right? And I cannot see a safe trial with all that in place.
For Mr. Palmer.
I can't. No, I can't. As much as I'd like to see him remain where he is, right? Because there's no doubt that he was involved in something. Okay? But the fact that the people that is paid to reassure the public have taken it upon themselves to ensure that the trial was tainted. And the judge, upon learning this, should have stopped the trial
at that
and
time.
start from scratch. Yeah.
Right. Gary, your last bit on that. I mean, you know, I think lots of people are comparing Gaza to Christ.
No. Uh-uh.
I mean,
again, and what I find surprising as well is that the Jamaican society is probably the only society that blames the victims.
that what?
Blames the victims.
I know, and nobody's talking about the persons who passed away.
No. Yeah.
Nobody's talking about this.
No, they're blaming him.
They're blaming. Yeah.
A woman get raped, they blame the woman. If a
Yes.
man got shot, they blame him, say him cause himself to get shot.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think the mindset of the people, there has to be a radical change in the mindset of the people. Because people are celebrating the verdict today.
Yeah.
However, a mother is there mourning the loss of her son.
Yeah.
How do we get past this?
Well, there's one man who is trying to somehow question whether he should go to the Privy Council. That's Ninja Man, because he's asked Emily, "You think me should go Privy Council too?" Emily, you know. So Ninja Man is trying to get the Privy Council. You know, that's a.
Well, everybody thinks that they should go Privy Council, but
yes,
does the Privy Council have time for them?
Yes.
Because
yes.
the evidence are so strong against them. It doesn't make sense even sending someone up to the airport.
Yes.
And if the judge stop this trial and start from scratch, we would not have been having this discussion today.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is beyond the breaking news. I like to say beyond the breaking news because everybody's going for breaking news. So I said let's go beyond the breaking news and look at some of the key topics, and that's what we did tonight. Just before we go, Gary, there's a big thing which happened in the States. It's going to affect you because I know you're a TikTok user, but they're kicking TikTok out of the United States of America. So. And if they do that in America, more than likely it's going to happen in the UK very soon. So I don't know if you're very active on TikTok as much as possible, Gary. Are you?
It doesn't affect me at all, man. It doesn't affect me at all. No, but it's interesting to note anyway that the people who use them, which is the young people really in the States, and the rubbish that Chinese, because it is said that the information that comes down on TikTok outside of China is quite different to what the Chinese get in China. And China seems to be able to control the rubbish that is filtered around the world. But what is filtered to them, to their young men and young women, they're able to control that and give them wholesome stuff. So, I mean, America is playing tit for tat, really, isn't it? It's a political thing. It's not so much a commercial thing. I think it's a political thing that they're fighting.
Yeah, you see, one of the things, one of the arguments against the whole thing is that America is trying to control the whole thing with the high level of censorship which they've done, and TikTok has brought a level of freedom. Someone just said they don't want people to talk. It's blatant censorship that is on TikTok as well. At the same time, I do find that TikTok is actually getting a bit very censorship with certain things. So sometimes it says, I posted something the other day, and it was giving some warning, and I was wondering what that was. I wonder if they're moving over into that sort of zone where they start to censor things. But the House of Representatives passed a bill on Wednesday that would require the TikTok owner, ByteDance, to sell the social media platform. Can you imagine? Or face a total ban in the United States. Think about that. The vote was landslide. The vote was landslide with 352 Congress members voting in favor and only 65 against. The bill, which was fast-tracked to a vote after being unanimously approved by a committee last week, give China-based ByteDance 165 days to divest from TikTok. If it did not, app stores, including the Apple Store and Google Play, would be legally barred from hosting a TikTok or providing web hosting services by ByteDance-controlled applications. Herbert, you're saying?
Do you think TikTok is being part of a wider political football game?
Between China and the USA?
No, between Donald Trump and the wider America.
Oh, Donald Trump coming to this. He's not the president, man.
No. In 2017, Donald Trump
wanted to ban TikTok.
Unless it was sold to someone that he recommended to buy TikTok.
Yes.
Right?
Is that the guy Steve Mnuchin? Official Steve Mnuchin put forward plan. Former Trump official Steve. Go on, keep talking. I just jump in there.
Is a Mnuchin.
Mnuchin. Yeah.
Right? Donald Trump recommended someone back in 2017-18 to buy TikTok.
Yes.
Maybe because he was hoping to get some side dollars from it.
Yes.
Right? So for now, the current administration is saying ban TikTok.
Yes.
And as we know, these things don't go unless they have information from their intelligence communities.
Yes.
Right? But if they're going to ban TikTok, why don't they ban the black boxes that are coming from China to be used in cars and planes?
Okay.
Because the black boxes, when there's an accident, the accident investigator just need to take the black box. The driver can tell them anything that he wants to tell them. But the black box plan tell a different story. And they just need to upload, plug the black box in and download the data from it to understand what caused the accident. Now, if they're banning TikTok, well, stop using motor chips from China then, or all those other sensitive parts that you use in your car.
Well,
because they can get the information from it without even downloading it from the car.
Yes. Well, that is interesting. But one thing for sure regarding TikTok is that a lot of people are actually it's their livelihood, Gary and Herbert. Lots of people actually live financially off TikTok. you know. So and it's their bread and butter, actually. And it is one of the platform which actually can pay a lot of people, and that is the thing which is many people are really concerned about, people in America. And I believe that if it happens to America, more than likely it's going to be a time soon before it happened to the UK, because the UK tend to always follow the United States of America. That's
Well, it's only fair that in the interest of national security,
yes,
right? If they if they think that the nation's security is being compromised by a particular nation, by all means take the necessary actions to prevent it from happening. However, while you're doing that,
yes,
remember that the people that you deal with are bringing in people and giving them information with which to work
mm,
against your home country.
mm,
So if you're going to ban TikTok,
mm,
ban your friends from other countries who you're
yeah,
having a drink with or a meal with and sharing sensitive information with.
yes,
So we can go back to be living in the primitive years where we do
yes.
not have relationships with people overseas.
So should I say then that you guys are going to be not going on TikTok anymore, or you guys going to be joining
I've
on
never,
TikTok?
I've never
Gary,
been drawn to it.
okay, okay. Well, like a conversation, they want to destroy any income their willful collapsing nations up to gain total control. That's what they are talking about. But I'll sit down with you guys and get you guys on TikTok, because I avoided TikTok for so many years until some people got me on, and there it is. I'm on TikTok, you know. So I'm trying to get Gary on.
People like you are easily influenced.
I've been with my Perkins. You know. So yeah, so that's the thing. Well, we watch a space as a TikTok, and for those on TikTok as well, I know people are monitoring that, because it's an effective tool. People tend not to, the span of concentration is very limited, in the sense they try not to go beyond too much. Nobody wants to see long speeches or whatever like that. They will, But of course, I got people who follow the conversations here as well. I just want to just flag up something before we go. I was hoping to get Matunda tonight, but he didn't come on. I think he put in the children to bed. But there is something which is happening in Jamaica. I think I have it here. Where is it? Yes, Gary, you need to go to this Jamaica Diaspora Conference, Gary. Can you imagine that? There's a diaspora conference which is happening in Jamaica, and that is going to happen on the 16th to the 19th of June 2024. And that's going to be at the Montego Bay Convention Center, So that is about the government. This is something which has been happening from 2004, which I've been involved with or so. So I think a lot of what's been going on, I think it's going to be a very hot and vibrant program this year. So get your flights and go to yard, All right.
See,
okay.
You keep promoting election tourism,
That's
I
election.
need to know what you're getting up. I need to know what your kickbacks are.
That's not election tourism.
Yeah, it's a part of election tourism. If they have a conference, if they're having a conference for the diaspora,
yes,
right? Why don't you go to all the regions? You have money, can send people to go to some foolishness.
Yes.
Why don't you send people to all the regions or all the major centers where Jamaicans are?
So what are you saying?
Right.
Sorry, please keep talking.
There's a lot of Jamaicans in Europe.
Yes.
Right?
Mm.
Why don't you have a conference in Germany, Paris, or Belgium and invite the Jamaicans in that region with adequate notice to come and join in the conference. Then you come over to the UK.
Yes.
You have that conference. Then you go up to Canada. And you go to America.
Well, can I just interject quickly there to say that every 2 years they have the one in Jamaica, and then the year between that, the different regions have theirs. So the UK would have one next year, just like, and then Canada would have one next year, and the USA would have one next year. There was one which they had in the UK last year, where I interviewed Junior Minister Terry Long. So what you're saying does happen. So the big convocation, the big one is the one they have in Jamaica every 2 years. So it's every 2 years they do have it as well. One of the things that I believe need to be on the agenda, it has been on there from 2004, and it is something which I personally had brought up at the time under the late Junior Minister of Foreign Affairs, the late Delano Franklin, was for overseas voting. Gary, they're still talking about that. It's as if it is something fresh, you know. O'Neill said, share something to me that it is actually happening in some places, but as Herbert said, it is election tourism. Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for joining tonight on the show. We discussed Diane Abbott being racialized. We discussed the Haitian crisis as to who started it and what is going to be the solution for that. We also talk about the Tik Tok being kicked out of the USA, and also the Privy Council, the free Kartel, they say the world boss, but the only world boss is Christ, of course, you know, but that's what many people say. I was hoping to have Matunda, former public defender of Jamaica and eminent counsel, to discuss it a bit more, but of course the replacement I had was totally awesome. We didn't miss Matunda. We had Herbert Musketa and we had Gary Graham, you know, two eminent counsels, you know, who can sort it out. Right, Gary? So ladies and gentlemen, have a good night, and thank you. Yeah? Sorry. So what is it, Gary?
Okay. Next week.
No, so what you're saying. I'll wait for 2 minutes for you to respond, Gary.
You're saying the list of liberties.
Was that Gary?
No, I was just gonna say that I won't provide an answer to any of the statements that you have just made in relation to me and
you see,
and Herbert.
That's what I'm saying. The less said, the better it is.
They said silence is golden. Silence is golden.
It's very much golden.
It's very much golden, you know.
Very much golden.
Sometimes you can see someone and they look so great until they open their mouth. There's a cheese and peas. I tell you what, it was like when I was in Jamaica. Listen, I was in Jamaica one time, yeah, and I was driving out of Corville Gardens on the boulevard, and the policeman had the gun, you know, the gun to test it. So yeah. And then the policeman, and I said I was speeding, but he just came out of there. And then my sister said to me, I was driving with my sister. My sister said, please, don't open him out. Don't open him out. Don't let the English thing drop out. No, don't open him out. I opened my mouth and the police come. My sister said, Lord, me tell you, don't open your mouth. You're the policeman. You should have listened to your sister. Will you open your mouth for? Right or left? Right or left? The first time I experienced right or left, Gary. First time I experienced right or left.
Yeah.
I won't tell you the outcome of right or left, but this is the first time I experienced right or left.
Listen,
live on direct.
What happened on that day? You were tried, convicted, and sentenced on spot.
On spot.
You never have a chance of appeal.
In seconds. You just wanted an easy life. And guess what? It was right in the holiday season, right in Easter. Actually, at Easter. See, even at Easter.
You get a bonus, innit?
You know, when the guy said we get bun, cheese, and bakery. Gary, they said to Major Mackerel. They said to Major Mackerel. They said to Major Mackerel. Hang on, Major Mackerel. Have you ever got bun before? And he said, boy, we get bun, cheese, and bakery.
Whole factory.
Whole factory. Anyway, guys, listen, it was great, and thank you everybody for coming on. And peace out. Yeah. All right.
Yep.
See you later. Okay. Have a good night. Peace out. Bye bye.
Cheers.
Thank you. Okay. Cheers.